And lentil soup is a staple in our house and should be a staple in every single house. Let me tell you about lentils. They did a study of obese people with type 2 diabetes, and they discovered that 1/3 cup of lentils every single day helped to significantly lower their LDL, raise their HDL, and if that's not enough, the folate levels in lentils allowed their homocysteine levels to stay stable, so they completely reduced their risk of heart attack and stroke. I mean, not to nothing, but pretty low. Anything you can do to reduce your risk of heart attack and stroke, you should probably do. And the good news is lentils are delicious and they cook quickly, so you have no excuse not to make them. So let me show you this really simple soup. We're going to start by taking whole garlic cloves. Now, garlic is more than just a wonderful flavor. Garlic is anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, antifungal. In World War II, they used garlic when they ran out of antibiotics to help to treat diseases in field hospitals. So we're going to smash it, which releases the essential oils, and just finely mince it. The more coarsely you chop the garlic, the lighter the flavor. So if you want a strong flavor, you really chop it. We're going to put it right on top of the onions. This does two things. It eliminates a dish, and it also helps us to not burn the garlic. So now we're going to take extra virgin olive oil. The pan is not on the heat yet. I like to preserve the flavor of olive oil, and to do that, you need to start with the oil in the pan before you turn the flame on. Then you turn on the flame when your aromatics are ready, and they go right in. And what did you not hear? Oops, no sizzle. That's because there's no sizzle. The oil's not hot yet. But I want to taste olive oil, so I don't care about the drama of sizzle in my own kitchen. So we're going to let the sizzle build, and then you'll get the flavor of olive oil when you taste the soup. It's amazing. It's such a difference. So while that's happening, we're going to clean our cutting board. Remember to clean your cutting board every time you dice or cut a veggie, because you don't mix your flavors, your board stays orderly, you don't get overwhelmed. When there's stuff everywhere, you're like, oh, I don't know what to do next. Clean your board. Just clean your board, take a breath, drop your shoulders. It's just dinner, okay? You're making soup. So we're going to take the celery, and you cut it, leaving the top part still attached to itself. And you're going to cut it, and as thin as you cut these spears is as small as your dice will be. And then you just run your knife along it, relax. Don't hold your knife like you're white knuckling a flight. Hold your knife. If your knife is sharp, it'll slide right through like these vegetables are melted butter. And then hear the sizzle building? Hear it now? Oh yeah, that's what we want. So now this is going to go in right on top of the onions. We're going to add a tiny pinch of salt. You don't want to salt the bean soup too early. If you do, the beans won't get tender and they'll be like little bricks. Now we're going to take and just sort of stir these around so they can sweat. Don't have your flame too high so things burn, and you just want to sweat the onions until they're sweet. You just want them to open up their flavors and not smell that really strong oniony smell that you smell, right? When you first put up onions to saute. There's nothing better than the smell of onions and garlic, I will say, but. So now we're going to dice a carrot. And when I dice carrots, I usually just take off the top and bottom that might be dry. And then to stay safe, I cut the carrot in half. I'm using the whole thing. And then I cut it into spears. Don't peel your carrots. No peeling of carrots. You don't need to lose that fiber or that vitamin C. And look at the work I just saved you. And nobody will know that you didn't peel your carrot. You just wash it. When you dice a carrot, do you think anybody's going to examine your soup and go, I don't think that they peeled the carrots. I don't think I want this soup. Not going to happen. So you're going to dice the carrot. It's going to go in. One more tiny pinch of salt. One little stir. And now we'll add corn and lentils. So the lentils go in. These are dried lentils. Make sure you rinse your beans so they don't taste dusty. And then a little bit of organic corn to give us color and texture and make the soup look happy. Then we add water. You want to add 4 cups of water for every cup of beans. You can eyeball it if you want, but if you add more water, your soup is too thin. If you add too little water, your soup is too thick. You're going to cover it. You may or may not add a bay leaf. If you don't digest beans well and you get musical when you eat them, then put a bay leaf in. You don't have to, it gives it a nice Mediterranean flavor. I'm pretty loose when it comes to them, and I don't always use them. Then you're gonna cover it, you're gonna let this cook for about 30 minutes. The lentils will get soft, and then we'll come back and finish it off. And what we've done is cook it till the lentils are tender. So now you need the boil to reduce so that we can add the miso. Miso is a Japanese product that they say the gods sent to us to bring us to enlightenment. All I know is it's the greatest probiotic ever. It helps you to digest, it helps to restore good gut bacteria, but in order to use it, you want to not boil it, and you need to take a little of your hot broth. And then you just dissolve the miso in here. Now, there's no magic to this. You just keep stirring it around until there's no big lumps of miso, so nobody bites down on some big salty chunk of something. And then you want to just stir it back into the soup, and it's going to help you to digest a little bit better. So the protein of the beans and the probiotic action of the miso is going to make this like the perfect soup. Stir it back in, rinse the cup out, give the soup a stir. It only needs to simmer for like a minute. This is not a big cooking thing. Now we're going to garnish it with fresh herbs. I'm going to take some parsley, some fresh basil, and some fresh rosemary, and just give it a little bit of a rough chop. You always garnish your soups, and you garnish soups not only to give it a little bit more flavor, but you garnish because it helps you to digest, right? The soup's been cooking, it could be a little bit heavy. This brings a little bit of freshness, right? So now we ladle. Let's take our soup. A nice hearty serving, especially good on a cold day, but also really good on a hot day. It helps to keep you cool. Garnish with a little bit of our fresh herbs, a little drizzle of extra virgin olive oil to give you a little bit extra flavor, and you have pretty much the perfect lentil soup.